Welcome back, y'all. You're talking with the AD. I'm on the way home from work right now. It's early, but I'm heading to a varsity basketball game this evening, and I had a couple minutes here thinking about some situations that were going on in recent events that we had. Not all of them are great on our part, but it's all about a learning experience. And there's one particular situation that I want to bring up, and this one is for the coaches. One part of coaching that I don't believe a whole lot of coaches really understand is their influence on fan behavior. When fans in the stands are not really happy with calls on the floor, we'll talk basketball because that's what this current situation is. They don't always verbalize that. They don't always get out of hand, and there's a lot of good fans out there that keep their complaints to themselves, or just talk to the person they're sitting next to or something like that. But some do get out of hand and verbalize that and end up, saying things they shouldn't, screaming, yelling, that sort of thing. But what I want the coaches to really understand is how much they influence that. And this was very evident in a junior high girls basketball game we had last night. This was the quote from one of the staff members that was at the game. She said, "They didn't really seem to be too bad until they started losing," regarding fan behavior. And that's understandable. Everybody gets a little more frustrated when your team is not winning. But the next statement is where I want to go with this conversation. So the next statement was, in the third quarter, their coach, who we know, really started to get out of hand. He started yelling and screaming and jumping around on the sidelines at a few calls that didn't go their way. My question then was, how much longer was it before the fans started to get out of hand? And she said, well, it was really the next trip down the floor. That's what I want the coaches to understand. So, from a fan perspective, it's almost a certification process. When I, as the fan, sitting up in the 7th row of the bleachers, see my head coach yelling, fussing, screaming at the officials, or in this case, jumping around on the sidelines about an official's call, the coach actually responded to a traveling call on one of his players. And when we went back and looked at the video, this player took 3 full steps, which is traveling unless you're LeBron James. And the coach said it was a Euro step. He then threw his hands up, head back like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you made that call. And then proceeded to conduct his own Euro step down his bench and then back up his bench. So he conducted 2 Euro steps, went down towards the baseline, then turned around, came back up in front of his bench towards half court, conducting his own Euro step, showing the officials that that's what he believes happened, as opposed to the 3 steps that his player actually took. So this is another situation where the call was correct, but the coach didn't feel like it was, and he got very demonstrative, showing the officials with his own little Euro step and all that. And then the fans blew up right after that, and it was very evident that the officials, or the fans, saw that, were already a little frustrated because the team wasn't winning third quarter, and I think it was third quarter, and then the coach does this, and then the fans erupt for most of the rest of the game. And it's one situation that is very indicative of conversations that I've had with some of my coaches, specifically basketball coaches, on this topic. Because, like I said earlier, when fans see that, they say, oh, you know what, my head coach thinks that's a bad call. I think so too. Let me yell at the official. And conversely, coaches keeping their composure and staying mostly calm, questioning an official in a respectful tone at a pause in the action or timeout or whatever, that's completely different than an official that's jumping and dancing around on the sidelines, hollering and screaming at the refs. It's also a much better example of how to conduct yourself when you're calm and respectful and have a conversation in which you disagree, versus jumping up and down, yelling and screaming, showing up the refs doing your own Euro step. So for the coaches out there, I really encourage you to take a look at this, take a look at your behavior, and understand the important role that you play in this whole management of emotions for the entire fan base. So I'm not saying curb your enthusiasm or your passion for the game, because if you're not passionate about your sport and passionate about developing young men and women, I don't believe you should be coaching. But make sure it comes out the right way and understand the influence that you have. So thank y'all for listening. If you've got any questions, comments, don't hesitate, put it in the conversation below. I'm interested in others' thoughts. If there's any other athletic directors out there who have thoughts on this, on how their coaches influence fan behavior, or if you're a coach out there and you want to talk about this, go ahead and put it in the comments and let's talk about it, because I'm very interested in others' opinions. And like always, just be respectful. Let's be respectful, and hopefully we can make everything better together. So thank y'all for your time. Y'all have a great day.